Well, hello everyone. It is Deanna, your soul coach, and today we are going to talk about empaths and narcissists. Why, as empaths, there are so many narcissists around you, or maybe you've had a relationship with a narcissist. We're also going to talk about the imago theory. And so stay tuned and you're going to learn something new. So, are you an empath? Did you know that only 1 to 2% of the population identify or are considered an empath? Someone that can put themselves in somebody else's shoes, someone with high empathy, very loving and compassionate person that considers others. So, as an empath, why in the world would you attract a narcissist? Have you ever asked yourself this question? Well, empaths and narcissists have something in common, which is they both have childhood trauma. And an empath, decided, I am going to be very loving and open. I don't want anybody else to feel what I felt growing up. I'm just going to continue to have my heart open. They were also attuned to a parent that had high emotions, or they could have had a narcissistic parent, so they were always on high alert, really tuning into outside of themselves instead of inside of themselves. And an empath is really sensitive to other people's feelings, and a narcissist decided to shut down. A narcissist could have had a narcissistic parent or a histrionic parent and decided that they don't want to feel everything. They want to just focus on themselves, and therefore they have an inflated sense of ego and a lack of empathy. So empaths tend to be overflowing with compassion, and a narcissist has deeply rooted insecurities and fears, which are covered up by narcissistic traits. And a lot of times, a narcissist does believe they're more special and that they deserve certain things. They can also have grandiose thinking, and they really do love to be admired. So, as an empath, a narcissist could very well be around you because the narcissist knows that you have something very special that they don't have, which is empathy. And they could also be a predatory type of person where they're preying upon your niceness to gaslight you, manipulate you. And narcissists really they're attracted to empaths because of empaths are so giving, and the empath is feeling all the emotions for the narcissist. And the empath sometimes doesn't realize they're a narcissist. They might have been fooled because a narcissist can pretend to have emotions, pretend cry, act as if they're having regular type of emotions, if we could call it regular emotions, like feelings, and they're masking. So it's a very toxic trait between an empath and a narcissist because the relationship is very unbalanced, and one partner is giving, the empath, and the other one's taking. And the empath has a driven desire to heal and support the narcissist, and the narcissist is just thriving on the attention. So this pair, with the narcissist being very controlling and needing so much attention and admiration, eventually will drain the empath, and their self-centered behaviors will eventually just completely wear out an empath. So why is it though as an empath that you would pick, let's say you were well versed that in narcissist? I, at the time when I went through this, I did not have the information about empaths and narcissists. Now I do, so I am aware. But if you do not have an awareness, then why would you pick someone that is masking, or why would you pick someone that is deliberately selfish, self-centered, focused on only their wants and needs, and if they don't get it, they act out. So we're going to look at today the imago theory. The imago theory. So what is it? So imago in Latin means image. And in theory, basically, you seek out partners or relationships that they have similar traits, positive or negative, to mom or dad. And if you weren't raised by mom or dad, then grandparents. Okay? And why do you do that? Because there's something unresolved, something that you wish was fixed, and instead you unconsciously feel like in this relationship that you can heal some childhood issues through this romantic relationship. If you didn't get to fix something with mom or dad, then you're bringing in a very close energetic match to one of them or both of them in order to fix it. So the theory would suggest that you could be at a beach bar and there's tons of eligible people, and the one person that you're going to say, hey, I want to get your number, is going to be the person that is most like mom or dad or both. Usually more so the one that you want to fix a relationship with. I mean, if you had issues with both, okay. But if you had more of an issue with dad, let's say, then you're going to pick someone very similar to dad in order to heal it. So there could be somebody that is maybe a healthier choice for you, but you're going to pick through this unconscious drive the person that's most closely, energetically similar to mom or dad or the people that raised you. So when you think about that, you can go, okay, so as an empath, did I have a narcissistic mom or dad? Then is that why I picked a narcissist? So it's really interesting, right? So we're going to go ahead and learn 5 key concepts in this theory. Okay, so the 5 key concepts when it comes to the imago theory. Number 1 is unconscious image. So imago refers to the unconscious image of familiar love. You heard about they feel familiar spirits, right? So, and this was shaped early on by childhood experiences with your primary caregivers. So there's an unconscious type of imprint that if you had a father who was neglectful or self-centered, there's an imprint there. Or a mother who abandoned you when you were little, there's an imprint there, okay? That's number 1. So number 2 is seeking a match. And individuals are drawn to partners who mirror aspects of their caregivers, both positive and negative, to potentially solve their childhood wounds. So are you wondering, hey, let's say you had an alcoholic father and you're like, I do not want someone like my dad, and then you end up and you're on a date with someone who is exhibiting alcoholic traits or getting shots after shots, and you're like, why do I keep attracting this? What is going on? It is a mirror. It is something that you want to work through, and therefore you're seeking out a match to, in that case would be dad, because you really want that relationship to be healed and fixed. All right, so that's number 2. So number 3 is a power struggle. A romantic love, initially experienced as passionate connection in the beginning, often transitions into a power struggle as partners unconsciously try to heal each other. So you might be like, wow, I got butterflies. I feel so much passion for this person. It's so hot and steamy, and they really get me. And then after a while, you're noticing there's so many struggles, like you're struggling, and it seems like you're like fighting with each other, and they're triggering you a whole lot, and you're trying to get your needs met, and they're trying to get their needs met, or they all of a sudden are exhibiting behaviors that maybe you didn't really see before, and they're exaggerated, and so yeah, I mean, you're feeling that passion, and you're like, now what is this about? And so it's becomes a power struggle. That's number 3. So number 4 is healing and growth. And so I would say that through awareness, you can move as a couple from an unconscious pattern into a conscious awareness and healing. So if both of you are like, wow, this person really reminds me of my mom, and I had some issues with her. This person reminds me of my dad. I had issues with him, or grandpa, or something like that. Then if you have a sense of awareness that you can get some therapy, and you can also do some inner work and say, when this person, let's say they leave for a week, they have work, it's triggering my abandonment wound from my mother. Or if the person is seeming controlling, where they're like, where have you been, or I need you home on time, and maybe they're just very a worry type of nature, then it feels like you're getting triggered from your dad, who was very controlling. So if you have an awareness here that, and you're willing to work on it, that you can grow from this romantic relationship. And then with an awareness, you can realize that that person that you're in a relationship with is not your mom or dad. They are an individual, but they're just triggering your initial wounds. And then maybe you could even have that conversation with your romantic partner and say, wow, when you do this, it triggers when my dad left, or something like that. And so there is an opportunity for growth here in this relationship when two people have an awareness and a willingness to work on their relationships. So as long as no one's hurting the other one, gotten to the point where they're hurting one another. And so that one is 4. And then I have 5, which is the dialogue. So there's a structured communication process where you can begin to realize that you're mirroring, and that you can also begin to mirror certain things, and validate and empathize. So you can have an open dialogue that says, hey, you know, I have this wound from my father who abandoned me. So when you don't answer me all day, it's triggering that. I'm not trying to control you. I just really would love if you could just give me a, hey, I'm good. And so when you have an open dialogue, then you can start to begin to heal that wound. You also want to do, of course, you could do a shamanic healing, or you could do some other deeper work when it comes to mother and father wounds. But in theory, our childhood experiences significantly shape our adult life and our patterns, and they are why a lot of times we pick the partners that we do. When we go, oh, why? I've heard so many people say, oh, why is it all the dates I've had were assholes? Well, is your dad an asshole? Yeah. Are you picking your dad? Are you picking the same person in a different body because you have that energetic imprint, or you have that where I want to heal this, or this is the imprint you had in childhood that he was very neglectful or rude or mean, and you're like, and that person might at first seem very kind, and then all of a sudden after 3 dates they're showing themselves, and it's mirroring your father. So there is a potential for growth in relationships when you pick someone similar. Like I said, as long as they're not so toxic to where they're harming you mentally or physically. But with an awareness, this can bring healing to your life. So this is the Imago theory, and I hope you learned something today. And this also is very helpful in wondering why, if you're as an empath, you might have so many narcissists around you. So check who in your life when you were growing up, like were you left with your grandfather all the time, and were they a narcissist? And this feels familiar, because it's going to be really important from here on out to establish strong boundaries and be open and aware. So when you're choosing a date, you very well don't have to pick someone. As far as the Imago theory goes, you could say, I don't want to pick anyone like either one of my parents. I don't have the blueprint for the relationship that I'm desiring, but these are the traits that I want. So you could also do that as well. So I hope this video helped you. And if you would like a one-on-one coaching with me, I'm a soul coach. So please reach out. I'm happy to assist.